She is a monster. She's worse than Epstein.
She's a very dangerous person, and she threatened my life on many occasions.
There has not been enough focus on the fact that this is a wretched woman who was convicted and in prison for 20 years for being a child sex trafficker.
The alleged victims of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell are furious about the allegations that President Donald J. Trump may pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. Annie Farmer testifies Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein violated her at age 16. I felt sick to my stomach.
She had no remorse in her voice. Ghislaine has no soul. And you know yourself what I've been through trying to take her down. And the reason why I've had to go through that is because she's a dangerous human being. She will reoffend, and reoffend. These people never stop, ever.
I've never met a more predatory, terrifying human being in my entire life, and neither had Virginia Giuffre, and neither has Annie, or Anushka, or many girls like Shantae Davies. There's hundreds of us that were preyed upon by Ghislaine Maxwell. She's a very dangerous person, and she threatened my life on many occasions. I've had to move and be in hiding because of this predatory child predator and just victim predator. So it's completely unacceptable for anyone to call her a victim. The woman is not a victim, she's a victimizer.
She's not a victim. She's a victimizer. She's a predator.
She is a monster. She's worse than Epstein. She did things even worse than Epstein did. She was vicious, she was evil, and she was a woman.
Her lawyers have said Ghislaine Maxwell is not a Jeffrey Epstein, that she has been a victim of media spin.
They're doing their job, but I know that woman. I've known her really well. Put it this way. Epstein was Pinocchio, and she was Geppetto. She was the guy controlling
the strings.
Jeffrey. Yep, she was pulling the strings. She had his money. He had her contacts. But Ghislaine was much more conniving and smart than Epstein ever was.
This is too much because the Justice Department told Trump in May that his name is among many in the Epstein files. Now, President Trump expresses what he feels like when Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison.
Let them prove somebody was guilty. I mean, do you know that?
Oh, so you're saying you hope she doesn't die in jail? Is that what you mean by wish her well?
Her boyfriend died in jail, and people are still trying to figure out, how did it happen? Was it suicide? Was he killed? And I do wish her well. I'm not looking for anything bad for her. I'm not looking bad for anybody. And they took that and
she's a alleged child sex trafficker.
Big deal. But all it is her boyfriend died. He died in jail. Was he killed? Was it suicide? I do. I wish her well.
I do. I wish her well. The point there is the truth must come out. Was Epstein killed? He killed himself? All this must come out, and everyone must know the truth behind all this. And some people say no evidence anywhere all about what's being said, that Trump's name was named in Epstein files. So it's just hallucination that people are talking about Trump because Trump was Jeff Epstein's best friend or friend for many years. Now people just put that in their mind and speak about it. But maybe even Trump is among the sex traffickers. Maybe Trump is among the enablers. Maybe Trump is among the people who are doing bad, dirty things to young ladies, or all sorts of thinking. But there is no evidence to back up that. No one can tell that there is this particular evidence about Donald J. Trump. Yes, his name might be in the Epstein files because he was a friend, but he is not a criminal.
It is a guy that was kind of in the background of Wall Street, but he had all these very high-level connections. He was very rich, and he was a disgusting human being in his private life. We all know that. There has never been one piece of evidence to show that any of these quote unquote clients and friends of his, whether it was philanthropy or his money management business, you name it, friends, his lawyer, like Alan Dershowitz, there's no evidence. It's quite the contrary, that they weren't involved in his disgusting activity. Donald Trump, no evidence. There won't be any evidence. Trust me, not going to be any evidence. But we keep talking about this because we have an endless imagination for the worst possible stuff when it's Occam's razor every time. He was just a sleaze in his private life.
Yeah, it's just imaginations. We are just thinking about it. We are just imagining because they are friends. Maybe even Trump was among the bad men behind this. Maybe. We are just thinking about it. We are just imagining it. But it might not be true. And now it's alleged that Ghislaine Maxwell, she was never interviewed, never, about anything behind the scene, what was going on really between her and Jeffrey Epstein, President Donald J. Trump, the big people they were moving with, the so-called young girls they were with, sex trafficking, everything, all the dirty things they were doing behind the scenes. She was never interviewed about all that crap. And the question is, if she was never interviewed, she is in prison.
The question is what she has. I was surprised in speaking with a member of the legal defense team a couple days ago when they said that reports that she had been previously interviewed by federal and state prosecutors, investigators, was not true.
What?
That she had never been interviewed. Yes, and despite all of these past investigations in this scandal, I was really taken aback by that. So if that's true, she could be an untapped source of new information. The question is, what is that information? Is it just salacious, or is it something more that would reveal criminal conduct?
She was never interviewed about anything. But people around the world, they are so bitter about her actions, about Jeff Epstein's actions, and anyone around them, and whoever is trying to hide the truth, the reality, the allegations, whoever is trying to hide them behind the curtains, is not good for him or her. And that's why everybody is asking President Donald J. Trump, why are you not releasing the Epstein files? When will you release the Epstein files? We want to know exactly what's in those files. If your name is in there, were you involved in this bad dirty stuff, or you are not involved? So please release the files.
I would just like to remind everyone that we are aware that he's probably going to pardon Ghislaine. This piece of shit is going to pardon the other piece of shit to keep his name out of files that we all know that he's on. But he somehow wants us to forget and thinks that, well, half of America is stupid. Well, I mean, if he voted for him. He's right. But even more important than that, y'all are pissed off about all of these illegal immigrants that are sex traffickers. Spoiler alert, how many of you motherfuckers know that Ghislaine Maxwell is not American? She's an immigrant. She's a naturalized citizen, but she was not born here. No, and fun fact, she still holds British and French citizenship. So that means a fucking pedophile is going to pardon a fucking immigrant pedophile who will probably flee the country to keep his name out of files rather than listening to victims, rather than doing the right thing, because we know he doesn't have a moral compass. He is going to protect a sex trafficker to keep his name out of sex trafficking files, and she is a fucking immigrant. Let that sink in, MAGA, one more time. Donnie is going to pardon a fucking immigrant who was a convicted sex trafficker for minors. I'm gonna let you think on that one. Have a great day.
The world thinks that way. But what I'm thinking is, according to the history of President Donald J. Trump, I remember when he was finishing his first term, he pardoned Stone. You remember that? He pardoned Friend. Remember that? And now, what I'm thinking is,